No, they really told her to get surgery. That's crazy, man. Have y'all heard about this entire Glorilla situation? Some people might recognize the name, others don't, which in that case, I guess that's why I'm here, right? Let's talk about her. Now, Glorilla. Are you familiar with the name? Gloria Woods, professionally known as Glorilla, is a 23-year-old rapper out of Memphis, Tennessee. She's definitely making some very noticeable waves in the music industry right now. She has this record called FNF that came out in April that's been going super crazy. The music video is almost sitting at 40 million views, and the song itself on Spotify has over 18 million streams. She has a couple other hot records that are doing pretty well right now. Blessed being one of them, probably my favorite, and then Tomorrow, which is hard as hell. Now, aside from that, what's going on with this entire situation that I'm talking about? So there's been a lot of talk about, strangely enough, Glorilla's body on social media. She's blowing up, there's a lot of eyes on her, so naturally people are gonna have something to say about her, right? People have not only been talking about her body, they've been criticizing it. I think the right word would be body shaming. Throughout these last couple months, as she's been blowing up, there's been a lot of remarks made about her body. Specifically, what's going on is a mass of people have been making comments about how she should get a BBL. A BBL, for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it stands for Brazilian butt lift. It's a cosmetic surgery where they essentially transfer fat from different parts of your body, your abdomen, hips, lower back, thighs, etc. to your booty. So if all that squatting and deadlifting, is a little too much work, you could always take the shortcut and get a BBL. For the record, by the way, these comments have all been coming from women themselves, and I think that's very important to note. So if you take a look at the screen, as you can see, Glorilla looks great. She's on a slim/petite side as far as autonomy, which is the polar opposite of the modern female rapper in the mainstream, and that's actually the real reason why these body shaming comments are a thing. A couple weeks ago, as the rise of her movement was taking place, a lot of these get a BBL comments started popping up left and right. That actually led to Glorilla herself responding to it. On this one Instagram story she posted, she said, "No, I'm not getting a BBL. I already feel like the thickest in the world." Sometime after this, as more of these comments started popping up, she put up another Instagram story saying, "This is my last time addressing this. You motherfuckers better get used to this slim body, green pretty eyes." Yeah, she got green eyes and big beautiful nose of mine, cause ain't a damn thing gonna change. Y'all can hate y'allself all you want, but I love me some big glow. So she essentially responded to all the people encouraging her to get surgery by giving them the middle finger, like she should. After this, a lot of support started pouring in for Glorilla all throughout Twitter. A lot of people decided to stand with Glorilla by calling out all the women who were making these comments. These are some of the tweets. I'll go through a couple of them. This first one said, "I'm glad Glorilla knows she doesn't need her body done. Y'all be hooting and hollering how every BBL body look the same or look bad, and then bother women like Glorilla or Coi Leray to go under the knife when they are fine as they are. I agree." This other tweet said, "Women turned on Glorilla quick." As you can see, this tweet has over 1,700 retweets. So like I said, it was unfortunately mainly women who were making these comments. This other tweet said, and this is from a woman by the way, she said, "Women are in that thread calling Glorilla all types of manly and masculine, trying to rip her off her womanhood to check notes, shit on men that actually support her." This other tweet said from a user whose name is the Bacchio Coochie Stank. What the tweet said, "Glorilla and Coi Leray is a breath of fresh air for petite women. Y'all want every female artist to have a big fixed ass and titties out the gate. For what reason?" I really agree with this tweet, by the way. Shout out to the user whose name was the Bacchio Coochie Stank. Glorilla, in the midst of all this, put up this one tweet that said, "Y'all, please stop saying people are being mean to me, because I feel like you're calling me a weak ass when y'all say that. I've never been bullied a day in my life. People can talk on the internet all y'all want. At the end of the day, life's great. Still good." By the way, "Buzzy's still good." That's a line from her song FNF. Anyway, she also responded to these comments on an interview by saying this.
"Our fear is like once you start with that, then here comes the BBL and then everything else."
Nah, see, I don't want none of that. Then, I'm skinny anyway. I can't get no BBL.
Petite.
I'm gonna be looking like an ant. What a lot of people don't act like they don't see, and what I know in my head, like I see every day. I look in the mirror, like I got a whole lot of ass. And like people don't know that. They be like, "Get a BBL." I be like, "You don't see it."
So that's really the whole story here. Glorilla, a young female rapper, is having all this success in the game, and only a few months into her blow up, people are telling her to change her body in order to conform to the very unrealistic beauty standards of the music industry. By the way, I'm saying music industry, but I'm talking about beauty standards in general. First of all, before we continue, I want to salute Glorilla for how she's actually handling this. I like her nonchalant approach. I'm sure some of these comments are getting to her, but the kicker is, and this is the secret on how to handle haters on the internet, you don't give them the power by showing that they're getting under your skin. So her approach, I think, is textbook. It's not only her approach that I like, I also like her attitude. She's essentially saying, I fuck with myself too much to let y'all dictate what I'm supposed to look like. Very refreshing to see an artist handle these disgusting comments with such elegance. So I really just wanted to salute her for that. With that being said, it's actually kind of ironic and sad that these comments were mainly coming from women. You would think that men would be the ones making these comments, but like we know, that's not the case. Fun fact about that, by the way, a lot of guys actually mess with Glorilla, me included. I mean, she can for sure spit, and I think she has a lot of potential to honestly just run shit up. She's very reminiscent of the late Young Dolph, which is kind of ironic since she signed to Yo Gotti. But Glorilla is one of the only female rappers I've seen get this amount of praise from men. Goes to show that men do actually like female rappers, long as they can rap. Anyway, as for these comments are obviously rooted in insecurity. The women who are telling Glorilla to change her body are doing so because they are insecure about how they look, and if they were in her shoes, they would get the damn BBL. So the women who are making these comments are obviously projecting their insecurities onto Glorilla, and she's of course not with the BS, so shout out to her for standing up for herself. This entire situation actually reminds me a lot about Coi Leray. She's been going through the same thing as far as body shaming goes. Coi Leray, like a lot of people already know, is a Boston-born, Jersey-raised rapper who started taking off back in 2021, even though her music is the reason why most of us know about her. One of the biggest conversations as it relates to Coi Leray has been her body. Coi Leray, just like Glorilla, she's on a petite and slim side. I don't think I've ever seen a female rapper's body get more scrutinized than Coi Leray's. People for the longest time have called her Boy Leray, i.e. she's built like a boy. People have been telling her to get surgery. People have made a bunch of comments about how she should gain weight because she's so thin and she's built like a stick. So Coi Leray has gotten body shamed like crazy. I think what we're seeing nowadays as far as female rappers go is the ones who do end up getting pushed by the industry and by the mainstream, they all look the same. So they've all gotten work done, whether that be BBLs, breast implants, Botox, or any type of cosmetic surgery. This obviously not only feeds into the hypersexual culture that we're living in, it also validates that this unrealistic way of looking is the way to look, even though it is completely not realistic. The reality the women in hip-hop have to face is that the more you're willing to alter and change your body with things like cosmetic surgery, the higher the likelihood that you'll climb the ladder in the industry faster. Because the more you modify your body in this way, the higher the likelihood that you'll also show off more, and that in return leads to attention because sex sells, which in return equals money. Record labels are also responsible for this shift in the industry because the record labels want women to alter their bodies so they can capitalize off of it themselves, because like I said, sex sells. A real life example of this is Saweetie. Saweetie, I would consider more of a social media influencer than actual rapper. That being the case, rapping is how she got popping in the first place. The reason why I'm bringing up Saweetie though is because when she initially got in the rap game, she had this image of a young, cute, pretty, intelligent, classy college girl that was really at the core of Saweetie's brand when she first came into the game, and I know that because that's how I found out about Saweetie. She was definitely a breath of fresh air back then. Now, sometime shortly after though, what ended up happening is Saweetie conformed like most female rappers who end up reaching the mainstream, and she became like the rest. So I guess Juice WRLD wasn't lying when he said that all girls are the same. Anyway, that innocent, classy college girl look went out of the window because it's not as lucrative as this new version of her. Saweetie conforming is precisely what propelled her to that next level, and that's one of the core issues surrounding this entire conversation. As a female rapper, if you're not built like this exaggerated and artificial version of what a woman is supposed to look like, you'll probably not only get shamed, but you won't unfortunately get that industry push. That's just reality. There's always exceptions to the rule. Lizzo is a good example, but then again, Lizzo is more of a figure in music overall and not specifically a figure in hip-hop, so she don't count. You know what I think is going on though? I think people have just gotten desensitized to women's natural bodies because all the beauty icons in the mainstream, the ones who are getting pushed to the forefront 24/7 by the media, they really don't represent what the average woman looks like. And I think that confuses people because on one hand, they know that the average woman walking in the street looks nothing like all these icons the media is promoting. However, through years of societal conditioning and mass marketing, we get told that's the status quo. That's why I think someone like Glorilla is going through this. She's not quote unquote supposed to get all this credit and shine because she doesn't look the part. You see how it's became more about looking the part than actually doing the part, aka, rapping. And here's the thing, I think it's really ironic and hypocritical how we hear people say things like, we want the women in hip-hop to have natural bodies because these surgeries ain't it. Yet those same people shame the women in hip-hop like Glorilla or Coi Leray who have natural bodies. That doesn't make any sense because you claim that you want the women in hip-hop to have natural bodies, but you shame said women for having natural bodies. I don't think the majority of female rappers actually go into the game thinking that they're gonna go down the road of cosmetic surgery, but what happens is the industry essentially corrupts them, right? As an example, they get cosmetic surgery only because they're trying to elevate in the business. So really in the end, it ends up being a business decision. Everything comes down to the bag after all, right? What a lot of people don't talk about is the implications that come with that. In this case, since we're talking about female rappers, it's definitely having a strong negative psychological effect on a young woman growing up in this generation who idolize these female rappers, because they're seeing all the women they look up to in hip-hop changing their bodies in order to become something that they themselves naturally aren't. What kind of message does that send? Alter and change your body in order to get accepted by society? How is that good? Imagine the amount of insecurity that's instilling in the young women who look up to said female rappers, because what they're seeing is, all my idols are changing their bodies by getting work done so they can look like what I don't look like. The question is, what kind of precedent does that set? Not a very good one. In the end, Glorilla is going to be good. I mean, she's taking off big time right now. She's on the up and up, and I hope she keeps on shining. With that being said, I also hope she sticks to what she said. I would hate to see her altering her body and getting a bunch of cosmetic surgery down the line. And I'm saying that because that's usually what happens to a lot of female rappers who do blow up in the mainstream. Although there are a lot of women in the genre who haven't gone down this path. Shout out to them. At least in the mainstream side of things, this is something we don't see too often. Glorilla, I believe, is taking a stand against that, and I hope she doesn't cave. And to all the people who told this young woman to get surgery because you're insecure about how you look, you should be ashamed of yourself. Obviously, you should have listened to what grandma told you. If you ain't got nothing nice to say, keep that shit to yourself. But yeah, I wanted to speak on this Glorilla situation because it's an important topic. I can't personally relate because I'm not a woman, but I think it's an important discussion that needs to be brought up to the surface, which is why I'm talking about it right now. Do you have any thoughts on this entire conversation though? Like we covered, a young Memphis rapper by the name of Glorilla has recently been subjected to comments about people encouraging her to get cosmetic surgery. Personally, I think she looks great as it is, but the internet be on some bullshit. You already know how it is. Do you have any thoughts on this though? Definitely let me know in the comment section below, and like the video, please. Just click like, okay? Just click like. I would really appreciate it. Like, just please click. Anyway, let's start talking about this.